What I'm about to show you is the exact system that I use to get local service businesses clients predictably. And look, most people in my position would never actually show you this. They'd talk about it, they'd describe it, maybe give you a fancy framework with the fancy name. I'm just gonna pull up the whole thing on screen and just walk you through every single piece of it. So if that sounds even remotely interesting to you at all, let's go ahead and get into it. This is the same system that I built for my own service business, which ironically helps other service businesses get clients predictably using this exact system. I know I'm still trying to figure out how that happened myself, but anyways, it's live right now and it's running as you're watching this video. And before I walk you through each piece of it, I want to just give you a quick picture of what this actually is. Because if you've never seen something like this before, the individual pieces won't make as much sense without the full context. So what we've built here is a complete client acquisition system. It starts with an ad that gets in front of the right people on social media, and it drives them to a landing page. Now on that landing page, there's an application that qualifies them before they ever get access to booking a call on your calendar. Behind that application is a complete booking flow that captures the appointment automatically, and then once they book, there are automations that fire off, follow-up emails that go out, and an entire CRM that organizes and tracks everything on the back end. The goal of all that, taken together, is to take someone who has never seen or heard of you or your business before, so a completely cold stranger, and actually move them through an entire process that ends with them showing up to a call as a qualified, informed prospect who is ready to have a real conversation. That is what we built. And I'm gonna walk you through every single piece of it. And I'm also gonna tell you what each part is doing and why it's built that way. And I wanna say something really quickly before I get into any of that. If you have tried running ads before and they didn't work, I'm not surprised. Most of the time, when ads don't work for a service business, it's not the ads themselves. It's that there's no real system behind them. Someone clicks an ad, then they land on a generic website, maybe they fill out a contact form, and then they wait. Maybe you call them back that day, maybe you don't, maybe they've already called someone else by then. The ad has done its job, but everything after it is what failed. What I'm gonna show you is what has to exist behind that ad for any of this to actually work. Because the ad is just the first step. What happens after someone clicks is where your clients are either lost or won. One more thing before I get into it, I promise, most people who teach marketing will just tell you what to do. Almost nobody explains why to do it. And for me, when I actually understand the reason behind each step, it completely changes how I execute it. I'm not just following a checklist anymore. I know that the point of the ad is to get the right person's attention and to just filter everyone else out. I know the point of the landing page is to eliminate every possible reason that someone might leave before they take an action. And I definitely know that the point of the follow-up is to keep their interest high so they actually show up to our call. When you understand the why behind everything, every decision becomes intentional. That's what I want to give you in this video. So let's get into it. So what I've done here is I pulled up my Instagram, and what you're seeing on the screen right here is the actual ad that I'm currently running. This is the very first touch point that someone has with my business. Someone who has potentially never seen or heard of me before, this is what they're seeing. And this is what drives them to my landing page. Now, I want to just play the first couple of seconds of this for you, because what I really want you to pay attention to is the very first words that come out of my mouth. That's it, just the first words. Here we go. Wilmington Service Business Owners. 2 seconds in, Wilmington Service Business Owners. That's it. I know exactly who I'm talking to, and I say it immediately. There's no warm up. There's no, hey guys, this is Nick here. It's just who this is for. Think about it this way. If you wanted to get someone's attention in a crowded room and you knew their name, you'd just say their name. That's literally all this is. When someone is scrolling through Instagram, their brain is essentially on autopilot. They're not really paying attention to anything. But when something connects directly to who they actually are, it snaps them back. It's like hearing your name across a loud room. You can't not hear it. And the more specific you are, the more that exact person feels like you're speaking directly to them. And everyone else just keeps scrolling, which honestly is exactly what you want. Because people who aren't your ideal client that are clicking on your ad, they're just gonna waste your time and cost you more money. So think about your own business. Your best client isn't every homeowner in your area. It's a specific person, someone with a specific project who's been putting it off, who has the budget to actually do it right, and who just needs to find someone that they can trust. The only way to reach that person specifically is to speak to them specifically. That's the only job that this ad has. So let's keep going right here. I want to show you the next part of the ad. We'll install a predictable client getting system into your service business and guarantee your first qualified leads within 14 days, or we keep working for free until you do. There you have it. Every piece of that is deliberate. I mean, every piece. The 14 days part, that creates a real picture in your head. It's not, we'll help grow your business eventually. It's a specific moment in the near future where something actually changes. You can actually see that in your head. And the guarantee, this is the piece that most people skip, and it's probably the most important one. The biggest thing stopping someone from saying yes is not the price. It's fear. It's the fear of being wrong again. It's the fear of spending money on something that doesn't work. And it's the fear of this being the third marketing thing that you tried that didn't deliver. The guarantee is what removes all of that. The risk shifts from you back to me. And when someone genuinely feels like they can't lose, saying yes becomes a whole lot easier. Now, if we go to the end of this video, you're gonna see I have one call to action. I say to apply now. They're not three things, there's literally one. Every extra option is just another reason not to decide. And having one clear next step, more people are gonna take it. It's pretty simple in theory, but almost nobody does this. Those are the core things that you need to know about the ad. And there's a lot more that goes into it. But if you understand those key things, you understand why it works. So let's move on to what happens the moment someone clicks that ad. So the second that someone clicks that ad, they come right here. This is the landing page. And the very first thing that I want you to notice is what this page does not have. There's no menu. There's no about page. There's no list of services. There's nowhere to go except for forward. And here's why that matters. Most businesses send people to their main website when they run ads. And what happens is the person lands there and they start browsing. They look at the about page. Maybe they start reading about your services. Then they check out your past projects. And somewhere in all that browsing, the reason that they clicked in the first place just completely disappears. They learned a bunch of stuff, but they didn't do anything. The longer that someone goes without taking an action after they click on your ad, the less likely they are to ever take one. Now, this page removes all of that. There's a video and there's an application. That's it. You can watch the video or you can fill out the application. There's literally nothing else. Now, the video works better than written copy here for a specific reason. Written copy requires someone to actively keep choosing to read every single line. The video just plays as soon as you click on the page. The information is getting delivered whether you're paying attention or not. But more importantly, video communicates things that written words just can't do. Personality, credibility, whether someone actually knows what they're talking about or they're just saying words. Those judgments are happening automatically when someone is watching you on camera. And that's when they determine whether they keep watching and actually fill out the application. Now, moving on to the application, this is honestly where most service businesses leave the most money on the table. And it's one of the simplest things to fix. So let's say someone finds you. Maybe it's a referral, maybe it was on Google, maybe on Instagram, and then they fill out a basic contact form that looks probably similar to this. They give you their name, their email, their phone number, and then you call them back eventually. You probably spend the first 10 to 15 minutes just figuring out if the person is even worth talking to. You're asking, what do they need? What's the budget? What's the timeline? Are they even ready to move forward? And half of those conversations just end up going nowhere. And a third of them are just people price shopping. Some people aren't even ready at all. If you spend 20 minutes finding out that someone wasn't a fit, meanwhile, there's something that you could have known in 30 seconds if they just answered a few questions up front, the application flips that completely. So I'm gonna jump over here and show you the actual back end of this form so you can see the rest of the questions that are in here. The application just starts with the name, phone number, and email. But once you proceed, we're asking way more questions that are filtering people out. That's the whole idea behind this page, is we're figuring out what their business looks like. What is the average project size or job? What is the biggest bottleneck right now? We're asking these questions to actually filter people out. So by the time that you're on the call with them, you already know whether it's a conversation worth having or not. But there's something else the application does that most people never think about. It completely changes how people see you before you've ever spoken a word. A business that requires an application to even get a conversation is not the same as a business that answers anybody that calls. The application signals that your time has value, that you're actually selective, that not everyone gets access to you. And that shift happens before you've ever said anything. So instead of you trying to convince them, they're showing you why they're worth your time. That is a completely different dynamic to operate from. So after they fill out that application, they land right here. This is where the booking happens. And I want to show you this specifically because the calendar is embedded directly inside the application itself. Now, that might seem like a small detail, but they finish the last question and the next step is sitting right in front of them. They come to the calendar, they pick a time, they confirm, and they're done. So they never leave the page. And here's why that actually matters. People's motivation is not fixed. It actually peaks at the moment that someone makes a decision, and then it immediately starts dropping. The second someone finishes an application, they're at the highest point. They've put in the time, they've thought about their situation, they want to know what happens next. If you make them wait and go check an email or wait for a call back, you're asking them to hold that motivation across a gap. Most people cannot do that. And it's not because they're not interested. It's just because life gets in the way. They come back later and the energy is half of what it was when they first started. So having the calendar embedded right there actually captures that momentum before it has a chance to fade. There's no gap in between application and booking, and there's no drop off. All right, here's the part that most people never see, and fair warning, this isn't the glamorous part. There's no flashy ad here. There's no beautiful landing page. This is essentially a database. But honestly, this is the part that actually makes this whole thing work. Before I show you this, let me give you a quick picture of what you're looking at. What I'm pulling up here is our CRM software. CRM just standing for Customer Relationship Management. Essentially what it does is it houses all of your leads in one place. It stores their contact information, it organizes them into a pipeline so you can see exactly where each person is in your sales process at any point. You can track every point of contact that you've had with them, and you can automate your follow-ups so nothing falls through the cracks. I want you to think of this as the central nervous system of the whole back end. So the second that application is submitted, this is what happens. Every answer that they gave is automatically populated right here. Their name, their email, where they came from. And if I scroll down here, I can see every answer from the application. What best describes your business? What's your current revenue? What's your average job size? All of that is sitting in a contact record before they've even picked a call time. I get a text message and an email notification directly to my phone instantly. So by the time they're selecting a time on that booking page for a call, I already know exactly who they are. And most service businesses get a lead and then they end up losing it. Maybe it goes in an inbox, in a text thread, or a sticky note, and the follow-up depends entirely on whether you, as the owner, has time that day. Leads don't just fall through the cracks because nobody cares. They fall through because there's nothing there to catch them. This is what catches every single one. And it does it automatically without anyone doing anything manual. Okay, so now when you book, there's another automation that fires, and they get enrolled in an email sequence that starts running from that exact moment. So as you can see here, there's a series of emails that are getting sent out automatically before that appointment. And I want to explain what these emails are actually doing, because this is where most businesses either do nothing or they get it completely wrong. So when someone books a call with you, they're probably interested, but I wouldn't say they're ready to hire you yet. In between when you book and when you actually show up, they're gonna do their own research. They're gonna go look you up, they're gonna think through their questions in their head, and maybe they'll even ask someone that they trust. That's just what people do. That's gonna happen whether you send them anything or you don't. The question is whether it happens in your world or somewhere else. If you don't send them anything, they're gonna go find their own answers. They're gonna look at a competitor's website, they're gonna find something that raises a concern that you could have easily addressed, and somewhere in that research process, their confidence is gonna drop. And they either don't show up to the call at all, or they show up skeptical and now they're more guarded. So these emails are making sure that the research they were going to do anyway is actually happening on your terms. So they're not promotional, they're not reminders. This is genuinely useful information that is answering the questions that they're already sitting with. How has this worked for businesses like mine? What does the process actually look like? What should I realistically expect? Every concern that normally comes up on a sales call is addressed in writing before the call ever happens. Now, when this is done right, people are showing up having already done their research inside your world. They've seen what you've done for other people. Now they understand what you do and why it works. And the whole time that this system is running, it's actually learning. Because every person who fills out an application, who books a call, who shows up, that data is being used to find more people who look exactly like them. The longer it runs, the better it gets at identifying your best clients and actually finding more of them. That's not magic. That's just what happens when you track the right things over time instead of guessing. So look at your own business right now. When a lead comes in, do you automatically know who they are before you speak to them? Is there something keeping them warm and informed between when they find you and when you actually talk? And is every single lead getting followed up with the same way? Or does it just depend on how busy you are that day? For most service businesses, the honest answer is no to almost all of those questions. And again, it's not because they don't want a system. It's because nobody has ever built one for them. And that's exactly what we do. So everything that I just showed you, the ad, the landing page, the application, the booking flow, all the follow-up emails, the CRM, we build all of that for your business. It's not a template that you figure out yourself, and it's definitely not a course. We actually build it the exact same way that we built it for ourselves. We start by figuring out exactly who your best client is and what they actually need to hear from you. Then we script your ad, we film it with you, we build the landing page, we write the application questions based on how you actually qualify clients, we set up all the automations, we write the email sequence, we launch the campaigns, and then we stay with you for 90 days. So when something needs adjusting, we're the ones who are adjusting it. You just stay focused on doing the work. Now, the mechanism is the same regardless of what your service business does. If you're a contractor, the ad is going to reach homeowners with a specific project, the budget to do it right, and the frustration of not knowing who to trust. The application is going to filter out everyone who isn't serious, and then the call is with a qualified homeowner who already knows what they want, and they've already decided that they want to talk to you. If you're in professional services, it's the same system. The ad reaches the right type of client at the right moment. The application does the qualifying, and you end up on a call with someone who has already seen your results, they already understand what you do, and they just show up ready to have a real conversation. This is the same system applied to different businesses with different messaging, but they're all getting the same result. It's qualified people on your calendar consistently without chasing anyone. There is a lot more that I could show you here. I could walk you through exactly how we write the ad script and why every single line is structured the way it is. I could show you how we build the application questions specifically around how you qualify clients in your type of business. I could walk you through the email sequence and explain what each one is doing and why it's sent when it is. I could even show you the full CRM setup, the pipeline stages, how all the automations connect end to end. But this is a YouTube video. And what I just showed you is already more than what most people in this space would ever give away for free. But if you want us to actually build this for your business, the link is down in the description below. Just fill out the application. We'll look at your specific business, your market, and your current situation, and we'll map out exactly what this looks like for you. Now, here is the honest truth about where most service businesses are right now. Every single month, without a real system, is another month just depending on whoever happens to remember your name. Some months that works out, but some months it definitely doesn't. And you won't know which one is coming until you're already in it. Now, the businesses that pull ahead over the next few years, they aren't always going to be the best at what they do. They're going to be the ones who figure out how to show up in front of the right people consistently. And not only that, but actually build something that keeps working even when they're busy doing the job. Now, if you are ready to build that, the link is down below. If you're not there yet, just keep watching, no worries, but don't wait too long. The businesses in your market that figure this out, they're going to be a lot harder to compete with once they do.